Hey y'all, welcome back to the Girl Talk Oracle podcast. I'm your host, Kiera. On this podcast, we get into all things self-love, healing, leveling up, and becoming the best version of yourself. I hope y'all are doing good on this fabulous Monday. Let me know down in the comments how y'all are doing. I am feeling good today. Yesterday was just a day for me that was very exhausting. I didn't do anything, but I was super tired. I didn't film. I didn't do anything. I just laid down and watched a movie with Cam, and I just really was like, it is what it is. I'll get back into it today. Today I got up, dropped Cammy off at school. Um, strictly got straight to it. I ate some food. My stomach will not be growling in this episode. I ate some food. I did my makeup, filmed some content. Now I'm filming this video before I have to go get her. And overall, just feeling good on this fabulous Monday. Let me know down in the comments how y'all are doing. So today's topic of conversation is going to be spirituality versus religion. And I know this is going to make them tussle, okay? Because a lot of people don't understand the simplest thing when it comes to this conversation. And it's all about, we're going to get into it. 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 So let's just talk about my journey real briefly before we get into Oracle Corner. So I've always been religious. Like I grew up Christian. I used to go to church all the time. Like I used to go to church with my grandmother. I used to go to Bible study every Wednesday. Like, and it was like really, so my grandmother had a church that she went to, and we used to go to her church all the time. And then like even when my mom wasn't going to church, like I used to go to Bible study with my friends just because like I wanted to go to Bible studies. Like it was, I used to like it. And then I also went to, like, I always find myself around religious people, and I used to go to like their churches. I've always been a guest at somebody's church. It never fails, like throughout my whole life. And it wasn't until like a little bit after my 25th birthday, which I spoke about on an episode before. It's like I had like a mindset shift or something. And I started looking more into spirituality. And once I started walking the spiritual path, and I started making a path for myself, not being so caught up in what I was taught and what I was used to, I started to notice like there is connections with all religions. Like just because I believe this way and you believe this way does not mean I'm right and you're wrong, or you're right and I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to my journey with spirituality, my spiritual journey fits me as a person. Like it's not going to fit anyone else because it's not for anyone else, it's for me. And even for you watching this video, like what I'm telling you in my journey and everything that I believe in, some of the things that I believe in, you may not believe in because it's not for you to believe. And I think with me being on a spiritual journey, I have more of a free mind. Like my beliefs are not set in stone. I believe, I don't know how to explain it. Like I believe, but it's like my beliefs aren't set in stone, or my beliefs aren't gonna, just because you don't believe my beliefs makes your beliefs wrong. Like, and we're definitely about to get into that in this episode. But I just want to kind of like give a brief understanding of like how became on this path. We will talk about that more in future episodes. It's too much to talk about in one episode. But just for the intro, I just wanted to let y'all know like where I started from and sort of how I got here. It was, I don't know, it just happened. Like I didn't go searching. I did not go searching for spirituality. Spirituality found me. And it was so crazy. The craziest thing about this whole journey for me is when my spirituality found me, I was avoiding it like the plague. I was like, nah, I don't think I want to, I want to just do, XYZ and whatever, whatever. And then I started reading tarot, and, I started to like get the people that was like, oh, that's not this, it's not that. And I'm just like, you know what? If you don't believe in this type of stuff, you can just stay out of my bubble. I stay out of yours, because nothing that you can say or do is going to change the way I believe, because I'm meant to be in this moment of my life at this exact time, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, like it just happened. Like, I didn't like just, there was nothing traumatic with religion that made me go to spirituality. Like, that wasn't the path for me. That wasn't what happened to me. I don't have trauma with religion, which is why I still believe in God. Like, that's why I still believe, and I'm okay with the topic of conversations when it comes to religion. And I'm okay with I'm actually open to listening to your beliefs. Like, I will go to church Sunday. I will go to church on a Sunday. Like, it's not that it is bad, like, because I'm open to all possibilities. It's like, what do they say when you're getting like a tarot reading online? Take what resonate and leave the rest. That's how I feel about church. And I think a lot of people go to church and consume everything and make everything resonate with them. And that's why they can't separate what resonates and just leave the rest. And there is nothing in this world that I'm 100%. I believe 100%. Like, I even question spirituality sometimes. Like, and that's because I'm learning. I am learning. Um, but yeah, we're going to get into it. So let's get into it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into Oracle Corner. So we're going to jump straight into the message of the week. So the message of the week this week is going to be whatever path you decide to take is between you, God, you, the universe, you, source, or you and whoever your higher power is. There's no judgment. Okay? It's between you and source, you and the universe, you and God. You don't have to answer to no walking soul on this earth, because your path is yours and theirs is theirs. And I say this all the time. There is not one person on this earth that is walking the exact same path that somebody else already walked. It's not possible. Even if you believe in reincarnation, you're not going to come back to this earth and walk the same path that you walked before. Because what's the point? You already walked it. Why are you doubling back? The path you decide to take is between you and God, you and the universe. Whatever you decide to say, I am interchanging between source, God, and universe. I say all three. That's my belief. Whatever you say, it's yours. Okay. Um, but the path that you do choose to walk, it's your path. And even if you just, you change your mind and you want to double back and go a different route, or you know how rerouting, because the vision that has got my third eye is like a highway, right? So, like, just imagine you're taking a path, right? Or even just if you're taking a streetway, and you miss your turn, you miss your exit. It's going to reroute you to another exit, and you can get back on that highway and go and get back off at the right exit that you're supposed to get off on. And that's how I kind of view life. It's like, even if I miss my exit and I'm not on path no more, Spirit or God is going to reroute me back to the path that I'm meant to be on. And it's so funny that I'm even saying this, because just speaking about it just brought I just got to speak the channel through my podcast. For example, I went on a hiatus over here with y'all, and I talked about it in the previous episode when I started back filming. It was more, I stopped filming over here, and I didn't have a reason. The podcast was doing fine. I started to focus on my beauty stuff because I felt like a part of me was missing. I've always been a beauty girl. I like doing makeup. I like reviewing products, and I believe that although I stayed on that path, at a certain point I had to get back off and get rerouted back so I can get back on the right path again, because it's meant for me to be in front of this microphone. It's meant for me to speak, because there's people who need to hear me talk. There's people who need to hear my message, and my message will be heard. Okay? And that is the message. Whatever path you decide to take, that's between you and source, you and God, or you and the universe. Whichever is your pick, whatever is your poison, honey, it's between y'all. You don't got to explain yourself to nobody. You don't got to try to force nobody to understand you. The moment you start realizing you don't have to have somebody understand the way that you think and the way that you are supposed to be in this world, you will feel so much better. I don't have to explain myself to nobody, because the people that understand me will understand me strictly off of that. They don't have to try hard to understand me. Even when I don't make sense, the people that are meant to understand me, because I don't be making sense all the time, girl. But seriously, like, the people that are meant to be in your life and understand you will simply be. All right. All right, ladies, let's go ahead and get into Read the Room. So the first topic of conversation for Read the Room is going to be why religious people have a hard time letting people believe what they want when we don't bother them. Ooh, child. I have had this happen so many times just from posting content. People will comment scriptures under my videos, and I don't really comment what you want to comment on my stuff, you know what I'm saying? But it seems to me that whenever I'm on socials and I see somebody posting about their spirituality, spiritual journey, reading tarot, there's always somebody in the comments that's more religious than anything, and they try to tell that person that what they're doing is wrong. But it's like, how did you find yourself on this side of the internet? There was a message in here for you. Like, how did you get on this side of our internet if you're not spiritual? Like, you watch spiritual videos just to comment on them. In reality, it's messages in these videos for you. Why are you trying to hate? Like, why are you trying to tell somebody what they're doing is wrong? It just doesn't make sense. It's like religious people go to sleep with spiritual people on their minds, and I don't understand that. I don't get it. It's like if we're gonna be on the wrong path and we're making all these bad decisions and all this stuff. Like, why don't y'all just stay over there in y'all little clean, fresh, purified bubble and leave us the hell alone? Because we're not bothering y'all. We don't wake up and say, "Oh, let's go ahead and go comment on somebody who's preaching about God's video, somebody who's Christian or whatever. Let's go comment on a video and tell them that this is not real. This is not God. This is God doesn't do this about the universe." And they're like, we don't do that because we mind our fucking business. A lot of times people that are more religious, they tend to think that because you are into spirituality that that's the only belief that you have. Coming from somebody who grew up Christian, who still believes in God. I believe in God. And I'm going to tell y'all exactly my beliefs in this video because I don't want to get anything confused. And who's to say my beliefs might change in the next 10 years? You never know because like I said in the beginning, I don't 100% believe in shit because I don't think nobody has the answers to anything down here on this earth because we're here to learn at Earth School. That's what it is, okay? So my beliefs, just to get this out the way, I believe in God. Do I believe in Christianity? Not fully, no. Because I believe that there is a God, right? Follow me. But I believe that when you are reading scriptures from the Bible, I believe that these were metaphors to get children and people to have a better understanding of what the universe was in the first place. And this is why you will hear people say that God is the universe, right? You will hear people say that the Son of God, right? Because in order for us to understand the stars in the astro, there we had to like they I feel that they turned it into people because it's better to understand a story about a person than it is to understand something about some stars that you have no idea of what it is. So this is just one of my beliefs. One of my beliefs is that God is the universe because God is all and God is nothing at the same time. Now, I believe that God is the universe and the sun is the son of God, like our actual sun in our sky, because the sun gives everybody life. That is the Son of God. Okay. And then you got all of the stars, all of the planets, all of these planets. This even goes into like Greek mythology and all type like I okay, whatever. Okay, Kira, chill. I believe that spiritual there's a connection with spirituality, astrology, and Christianity and other religions. It's all connected. But I do believe, I forget what it's called, but I do believe there was this like story. I saw it on TikTok because sometimes I just be like scrolling. I have not read this book or anything, but it was like this story that when everybody spoke the same language, we were able to break like certain codes or whatever. Correct me in the comments. Like we were able to ascend faster and higher, like to build the Tower of Babel. Is that what it is? I don't know. Correct me in the comments. And they broke the language so that everybody had different languages, and people tend to break that down to the actual language that we speak. And I don't believe that it was the language that we speak. I believe that it's the way that our stories were told. Think about Christianity, the way that the Bible is wrote. That was one. Think about the way that somebody who's Muslim would be a completely different, religion or whatever the case. Like there's connections in everything. Christianity is very limiting. I feel that like instead of limiting your limited, why does that sound so weird? Instead of limiting your beliefs to a white man and calling him your God, why wouldn't God be the universe? Why wouldn't God be all of its creation? So you mean to tell me that this man created this whole entire universe? This is a hard conversation to have because I really don't get this deep on social. Anyway, that was deep. I don't know. That's just my thought process. And this is why I say like my beliefs aren't set in stone because there's still more knowledge that I need to obtain. There's still more learning that I need to do. And that's why I say that it's easier for me to, and I said this in another video, that it's easier for me to walk this path um by myself. Like I am podcasting and all that kind of stuff to give advice and stuff like that. But I'm just a 30-year-old girl who's out trying to find her way. Like, please, because I know people probably will clip a part of this and think that because I said one portion of something that is set in stone, and that's not even, whatever, whatever. So the next thing we're going to talk about is you have to be careful with both religion and spirituality. There is pros and there's cons to religion and spirituality. Um, we're gonna start with spirituality because that's where I am in my life. So when it comes to the cons with spirituality, y'all ever watch a cartoon and then they're like, all magic comes at a price? I literally was thinking of Once Upon a Time. He's like, all magic comes at a price. Like that's literally how spirituality is because there's different levels to spirituality. Like you can be spiritual and you just believe in the universe and God, and you walk a very light divine path. But then you also have hoodoo voodoo, which is like Black American culture, and you also have like different like practices that come straight from Africa. I don't really know too much about that stuff, but there's a lot of stuff in our community, especially in the Black community, if you're a POC, that stems from what they call witchcraft. It stems from hoodoo and voodoo. Just growing up, like a lot of stuff um got lost in translation, but there's a lot of stuff that made it to me as a Black American from my mother that came from her grandparents and things like that. Like the whole sweeping of the foot, don't put your purse on the ground, and certain traditions on New Year's and all type of stuff like that. Like, where do y'all think that stuff come from? Nobody just pulled that out of their ass. I think that it got lost in translation, and there's ways that we do it now versus the way that it was done back in the day. Just like with Christianity and any other religion, there's things and ways that have been tradition for years and things that have changed and evolved with the times and the culture. Um, and when it comes to religion, I think that a lot of people, like I spoke about before, go into the church and they consume everything, or they, you know, it's okay for them to go into a church and pray at that altar and allow a preacher to preach over them, and and do all of this stuff. But the moment that someone's online doing that exact same thing, but they're saying that they believe in the universe and they believe in spirit and all this kind of stuff, is woo woo witchy and crazy. Like that does not make sense to me. So you have to be careful with both religion and spirituality. Religion can be just as dangerous as spirituality if you let it, and spirituality can be just as dangerous as religion if you let it. There's no in between. You just have to really just understand your path. Like I said, I keep saying it's your path. Like your path is not going to be like anyone else's. And I will say this until the end of times. Like you cannot compare your journey to nobody else's because they're not going to get it. Even the closest person to you may not understand every little thing about your journey because it's not meant for them to understand it. And I'm getting worked up. It's not meant for them to understand why you think the way you do, why you move the way you do, why you believe the way you believe. It's not meant for everybody to understand it because, like I said, the people that are meant to understand you will understand you, and that's just simply what it's going to be. And I think a lot of people, religious people especially, have a hard time understanding it. And even just, throwing against the spiritual community, a lot of the spiritual people have envious souls because you'll see one spiritual person and they'll go knock what another spiritual person is doing off the strength of like, oh, it's not valid, it's not this, it's not that. And it's like, what makes what you pull from source any different from what they pull from source? Just because you are able to read strictly from cards and that person can't read the cards but they can channel it in a different way, I what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? Like there is no difference in the way you channel, the way you read, the way you interpret messages versus the way that I do it. There's different clairs for different reasons. You have all the clairs. Look them up if you want to get into them. But there is no way, there's no way. Okay, like let people be them. Let people be who they are without judgment. Like a lot of, and then the craziest thing and why it was so hard for me to even speak about spiritual stuff a lot, like a lot in the beginning, was because I was afraid of what people would think about my viewpoint. Like, what do I, and there is times where I'm like, where am I pulling this information from? Because sometimes it just feel like a message just boom, drops straight into my head. I'm like, where the fuck? I don't know. I was talking to my sister, right? I was talking to my sister, and I promise y'all, this was like almost a month and a half, 2 months ago. I'm on the phone with her, just yapping. Y'all know I like to talk. I was yapping, 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 yapping. Next thing you know, I'm like, we're talking about, COVID. And then I'm like, there's gonna be another one. But I'm like, it's not gonna be like, C-19. I'm like, it's gonna be something different. It's not gonna be a upper respiratory type of illness, whatever, whatever. Boom, the boat. And when I go to my mom's, I'm gonna talk to my sister about it because it's so crazy. Because like if I keep these things, I need to just when I get messages like that, I need to just record them and get them out to the world because I fear that people based on like, oh, I thought I said that like a couple. Nobody's gonna believe that I said that shit a couple months ago because I didn't voice my opinion. And that's what Spirit has been trying to get me to understand the last couple of like months to like even the last year is that when I have an idea or and I have a download, I have to go and deliver that message or somebody else is going to deliver the message, y'all. I remember, okay, there was this girl and she made a TikTok video and she was like, if you got a video idea, you better go ahead and post it because it's going to get put out to somebody else and then they going to post your video. And I was like, girl, this is the video that I was supposed to post a year ago and I never did it. And look at you posting my video because I've been thought about that. It's like, and it's so funny. I literally was watching a video from the TJ yesterday and she was like, you better get up and do something for Prince do it. And I immediately knew exactly what she was talking about because it's like Michael said that. Michael said it. I had to get up at 4 in the morning and go record this song or Prince was gonna steal my song. Literally. That's that like the downloads, all type of stuff like that. I am not even on the right subject, but it don't matter. We're just yapping. Um, but when it comes to getting downloads, I have to just get the messages out instead of just like holding them and just thinking about them. Cause then something will come to pass. And I'm like, oh my God, I said that like 3 months ago. Oh my God, I said that. And it's not that I want to be right. It's just like more than prediction, I have a message. And my message is meant to be heard. And whether you're spiritual or religious, I just feel there's a message for anybody. If you're religious and you stumble upon my videos, it's because there's a message in here for you. If you're spiritual and you stumble upon my videos, it's because there's a message in here for you. But yeah, that's really what it all boils down to. All right, ladies, so let's go ahead and get into vibe check. Okay, so we are playing a new game today in Vibe Check. So we're going to be playing Truth or Tea. And the way that this is going to go, I'm going to ask ChatGPT just give me some truth or tea questions. Because I didn't want to write them down or read them before because I kind of want to be put on the spot. I am gonna print off some and just cut them out, just random questions or whatever the case on different subjects, so that I can just have them ready to go. Um, but this is how we're gonna do it this episode, and yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it. And these are gonna be spiritual and religious based questions. Okay, so and I have to say if it's truth or give the tea on why it's not the truth. So the first question, well, this is gonna be rapid fire. The first question is truth or tea. Have you ever felt spiritually connected to something but felt scared people would judge you for it? Yes. Um, I've always I can't even get it out. I've always felt spiritually connected to like dreaming and prophetic dreaming and psychic abilities, but I always felt that people would judge me or think that I was crazy or something. Like people would think that um something was like off about me because I've always got that I was weird my whole life, like, and I never really understood why. I believe that I'm neurodivergent. I have not got a proper diagnosis, but I am trying. I need to, get my appointment scheduled. That's the funny thing about, you know, having ADHD. It's like it's hard. Anyway, but yes, I believe that like having psychic abilities and talking about them makes me a little nervous even to this day. Like I'm afraid. And yeah, that is the answer for that. So the next one is, have you ever ignored your intuition because you wanted a different outcome? Yes, I did. I've done this in a relationship where I kept getting readings. I mean, I was getting readings from everybody, girl. Um, and the same cards just kept coming out, the death card and the devil card, which is a Capricorn and Scorpio card, which was the zodiac signs of me and my ex. And then I kept getting like the 8 of Cups. Like I just kept getting all these cards that signal like the ending of something. And even in the video they kept saying the ending of a relationship, blah 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 blah. I even would go and do a reading myself and my cards was coming out the same, and I was just so devastated. I didn't want it to be true. I used to cry about it, and I just had to let it go. But yes. What is one spiritual lesson you had to learn the hard way? Whew, a spiritual lesson that I had to learn the hard way, probably, I don't know. I think the whole journey itself is something that I had to learn the hard way. Because I feel like I'm alone. So that's the hardest part, is that you'll feel alone until you learn to enjoy your company and enjoy being in solitude. I think that is something that was hardest for me because I was so used to being with somebody. I grew up in a six-family household. When I went to college, I had a roommate. Like when I moved out, my best friend moved in with me. Then when she moved out, my boyfriend moved in with me. And then we had a baby. And then like it was us all in the house. And then once we separated, it was times where she would go with him and I was home by myself. And it was the first time ever that I've really been by myself. Um, and I think that was like the hardest, like learning to be by myself. Is that really spiritual though? Have you ever questioned your beliefs but felt guilty for doing it? Yes. I just said that about my abilities and my psychic abilities. And I spoke about them on the episode, like one of my first episodes ever. Like I literally spoke about having psychic abilities and the way that I found out about those abilities. It's like I've always known, but I I see more in my dreams than anything. And the way that like the confirmation for my abilities was when my brother passed away. Oh, we can't talk about that. But when my brother passed away, and I was just like, yeah, you know what? You're definitely a prophetic dreamer. And but the sadness about it is that like I can't change it. Like if I see it, and it hurts because when you see it when it's people that's closest to you, you can tell them about it, but it's not going to change anything. Because even you ever see a movie about the past and the future, and it's like, even if we try to go and change something that we did, that is what is going to lead to that future outcome anyway. So me telling you might not change anything. Okay, this one is a good one. Do you think people can be spiritual without being religious? Um, yeah. Absolutely. I think but I do like I said, I think that it's kind of connected with both. Like I think that there is a connection between spirituality and religion. Minor little strings connected here and there, but I do believe you can be spiritual without religion. Can you be religious without spirituality? No. That's the funny part. No, because there's always ties back to religion, to spirituality in religion, but being spiritual is just simply finding your own path. I believe there's more to spirituality than just being on your own path, but it's just a practice. Like a spiritual practice is just a spiritual practice. Like, why is it so hard for people to understand that? But that is what we have for vibe check and truth or tea. I did like that kind of rapid fire question. Let me know what y'all think about this. Do y'all prefer what will my homegirl do or truth or tea? So far, what will my homegirl do does not go good with this episode. So I'm just like, truth or tea was a better fitting thing for this episode. Let's go ahead and get into girl code. The first girl code you're going to be leaving away with today is going to be walk your own path, even if it means going alone. Even if you got to do it by yourself, even if you got to do it scared, baby, walk your own path because it's yours. And the next girl code to take away from this video is don't let no one scare you out of your beliefs. Don't let anyone scare you out of your beliefs. Do your own research, okay? And the last and final girl code for this week is going to be always be yourself no matter what. All right. But that is what we have for today's episode. I hope y'all did enjoy this conversation. I absolutely did. It felt nice to talk about the spiritual stuff on this podcast because I've been doing like more lighthearted things. And let me know what other topics y'all want to talk about. Please interact in the comments because I really just need some more stuff to talk about because I'm coming off the dome. But I think just having y'all's input would be good. So homegirls, help me out. But that is what we have for today's episode. I hope you did enjoy it, and I will catch you back for another one. Bye.